In this class, I am going to discuss about how to generate the power from geothermal. This geothermal power plant are used in order to generate electricity by the use of geothermal energy. That is, you generate the power from earth internal thermal energy sources. It is similar to the almost similar to the thermal power plant. The word geothermal comes from Greek word. The word geothermal comes from Greek word. The geo means represent for earth, and thermal is represent for heat. Thermal is represent for heat. That means we are carried from heat of the, we are generating the power, heat of the earth. Geothermal power station are similar to the steam, that is thermal power station, in that the heat from a fuel source is used to heat water in the thermal power plant. But here directly this steam, we can drive the steam turbine, we can convert it, the steam energy or heat energy into mechanical energy. Further, that mechanical energy convert into electric energy with the help of alternator. Geothermal system is both kinetic and heat energy of steam produced by flashing the geothermal brain is used. Here there are three types of geothermal power plant is there. One is for dry steam plant. There are three types of geothermal plant is there. One is for dry steam plant, and the second one flash cycle steam power plant. Flash cycle steam power plant, and third one binary cycle power plants. Binary cycle power plants. Out of these three, that is dry steam plant, flash cycle steam plant, and binary cycle plant, maximum they are preferred in the geothermal plant, that is dry steam plant. Dry steam plant. Now this is the schematic layout of the geothermal power plant. Here we are seen for dry steam geothermal power plant. Dry steam geothermal power plant. They are working by piping hot steam from underground reservoir directly into the, dries the turbine from geothermal reservoir, which generates the power to provide electricity. After powering the turbine, the steam condenser into the water and is piped back into the earth via the injection well. Actually, in geothermal power plant, this we are generating the power. The only few places. That place is represent for rock lamp. That the place is represent for rock lamp. Only few area is available. That is, and we can generate it with the help of the working principle is nothing but the magma. Again, here it is classified for three sources. Four sources are there. The main source of geothermal is magma. It is classified for four types: hydrothermal system, geopressure system, petrothermal system, and magma resources. But maximum, the principle they are utilized for the magma sources. Here, generally in the geothermal power plant, the only available in the rock lamp, that is the few places is available in that rock lamp. The temperature is very high. The temperature is in 150 to 300 degrees centigrade or more than the 300 degrees centigrade. Actually, here we are pumping the two bore well. One bore well, we are injecting the water. One bore well, we are injecting the water. Another bore well, we are producing the steam. We are taking the steam. Now you can observe in this diagram, that is the two well is there. One is nothing but the re-injection well. Another one is for the production well. Injection well in the sense the water is supplying here. Actually, in that the land duration due to the magma, here once we are injecting the water, the steam, the available the heat is taken in the production well. They are taken in the production well. With the valve mechanism, with the help of the valve mechanism, we are driving the steam turbine. With the help of valve mechanism, we are driving the steam turbine based upon the demand. The demands are classified for two types. One is for the base load, another one is for the peak load. The base load, in the sense the load is maintained for constant throughout the period. The load is maintained for constant throughout the period. That is, in a day 24 hours, in a month 30 days, and in a year 365 days, the load is maintained for constant. Peak load, within short interval of time, the load is increasing. After that, the coming from the actual position. Now, based upon the demand, we are kept for the wall position, that is 60%, 70 or 80 or 90% or 100%. This, the production well, that is once we are injecting the water, inside the steam, the temperature is maintained from 150 to 300 degrees centigrade. 150 to 300 degree centigrade. This temperature is carried from the production well. This, the hot steam is carried from the production well. This steam directly drives the steam turbine, which converts steam energy into mechanical energy. Further, this mechanical energy converts into electric energy with the help of alternator or the AC generator. Actually, here the generated the power in terms of 3.3 kV, 6.6 kV or 11 kV. 3.3 kV, 6.6 kV or 11 kV. Based upon the distance or based upon the line length, we are boosting the voltage or step up the voltage with the help of step up transformer. This 3.3, 6.6 or 11 kV, we can step up into 66, 132, 220, 400 or 765 kV. In India, the maximum the operating voltage in the AC transmission line is 765 kV. Based upon the distance or based upon the line length, we are boosting the voltage. That is, step up the voltage with the help of step up transformer. This step up transformer we are utilized only in the generating station. Remaining all the places used is step down transformer. Only the step up transformer is used in the generating station. Remaining all the places used for step down transformer. And this operating, once generated power, we can send it to the consumer via step up transformer, isolated switches, circuit breakers, bus bar. Here the wastage steam in the condenser. Actually, here we are using for the impulse turbine, that is steam turbine. It is classified for two types. One is for impulse turbine, another one is for the reaction turbine. Impulse turbine is nothing but the high speed turbine, and reaction turbine is represent for medium and then low speed turbine. Actually, here the geothermal power plant, they are used for the impulse, that is steam turbine. The wastage of the steam in the turbine is collected in the condenser. Again, that circulated to the cooling tower, and again the water is injected to re-injected well. Water is injected to the injection well, or the same water is injected into the re-injection well. Similarly, this is nothing but the cycling process. This is for the closed loop cycle. The operation is considered for the closed loop cycle. Due to this, the wastage, we are closed loop in the feedback system. The wastage is the steam. Again, we can utilize. Due to that, the efficiency is improved from 5 to 10%. The efficiency is somewhat utilized. But the only preferred in the geothermal is magma resources out of the four. That is hydrothermal system, geopressure system, petrothermal system, and magma resources. Why they are preferred only for the magma resources means the cost is less. Actually, in the geothermal power plant is away from the load center. Geothermal power plant is constructed away from the load center. That is only the few area, rock land is only for the few area. Only the few area only available, that is inside the land, that is the temperature is more. The temperature is more. Actually, here the temperature is consist of, that is 150 to 300 degrees centigrade. 150 to 300 degree centigrade. That land is represent for rock land or volcanic land. That land is represent for volcanic land, rock land. That is that choosing land, that is rock land, the temperature is high temperature in between 150 to 300 degrees centigrade. This drives the steam turbine. Already last class we have discussed about the biogas power generation, that is used only for low and medium power application, but the geothermal power plant is used for high power application. But actually choosing the land, that rock land or volcanic land, the identification is very, very difficult. And another one, we are injecting more number of bore wells, the earthquake is appear. For that purpose, we are not that much of prepared for the geothermal power plant. And one more thing, the geothermal power plant is constructed away from the load center. Geothermal power plant constructed away from the load center. Due to that, the transmission cost is increased. At the same time, transmission line losses is also increased. Transmission line loss is also increased. Actually, the geothermal is carried from the Greek word. Geo means earth, thermal means the heat temperature. Actually, the available in the temperature in the earth that we can carry it out. Due to that, the steam we are generating the electricity. Actually, in the geothermal power plant is operated due to the magma effect. It consists of two borewells. It consists of two borewell. One borewell we are injecting the water. Once the water is goes to the inside the steam is carried out. The steam is exposed out. That the steam we can taken from the production well, another borewell. This the steam drives the steam turbine, which converts the steam energy or heat energy into mechanical energy. Further, that mechanical energy converts into electric energy with the help of alternator. That is the wastage. The maximum amount of the steam is wastage in the turbine. Almost 50 to 60% of the steam is ejected in the turbine. That collected in the condenser. Again, that utilized to circulated to the cooling water and send it to the again inside the injected well. Due to that, the efficiency can be improved from 5 to 10%. The efficiency can be improved from 5 to 10%. And methods of harnessing. Actually, in the geothermal power plant, how they can identify what are the methods they are implemented means with the help of TS curve. TS in the sense the characteristics taken from temperature with respect to the entropy. Temperature with respect to the entropy. The temperature is represent for T and entropy is represent for S. Entropy is represent for S. In this characteristics, it consists of that is numbering they are given 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 7, 6, 4. That is this the one indicates geothermal brain in the well at high temperature. At high temperature. Actually, in the geothermal power plant, the temperature is maintained from 150 to 300 degrees centigrade. 150 to 300 degrees centigrade. That is geothermal brain in the well at high temperature 150 to 300 degrees centigrade. And 1 to 2 indicates drop in temperature in the production well. Drop in temperature in the production well. That is we are carried from the ground particle. Here the little bit of the temperature is wasted. The little bit of the temperature is the steam is wasted. That is less than 1% or in between 1 to 3%. That indicates 1 to 2. That is drop in temperature in the production well. And 2 to 3 indicates expansion of total flow fluid in special turbine. That is we can carry it from the steam. That is we are carried from the ground particle. It represents for 2 to 3. This the steam drives the steam turbine. And the 3 to 5 indicates that is the wastage steam collected in the condensing of steam and vapor in a condenser. That is the wastage steam we can collect in the condenser. Again fed back into the injection well. Fed back into the injection. And 5 to 7 and 5 to 7 that is 6, 4 is also taken place. Re-injecting of the spent fuel in ground through the re-injection well. The re-injection well. This methods of harnessing based upon how the geothermal power plant is operating based upon the temperature versus entropy. Temperature versus entropy. That is the temperature is carried in the y-axis. The temperature is carried in the y-axis is represented for capital T, and in x-axis is taken for the entropy. It is represented in S. Represented in S. Based upon the temperature versus entropy, we can carried how the power is generated. It indicates numbering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and then 7. That is the one indicates already in that the earth particle once we are injecting the water in the one bore well. Now the temperature is maintained from 150 to 300 degrees centigrade. 150 to 300 degree centigrade. And 1 to 2 is carried few amount of the steam is wasted in the production well. That is the drop in temperature in the production well. And 2 to 3 indicates that steam drives the turbine. That steam drives the turbine. That is the expansion of total flow fluid in specialized turbine or specific turbine. Here in the geothermal power plant we are using for steam turbine. These 2 to 3 can drive the steam turbine. And the 3 to 5 indicates Once we are driving the steam turbine, which converts the steam energy into mechanical energy, at the same time the steam is injected, that is the steam is wasted. Here we are using for the steam turbine, that is nothing but the impulse turbine. In impulse turbine, it consists of, that is the 4-blade mechanism or 3-blade or 5-blade mechanism. From one blade to another blade, the gap is there. Once the strikes the steam in the wicket gates or bucket, it rotating immediately within a fraction of second, the power is generated. That converts steam energy into or heat energy into mechanical energy. Here, injecting type, from in this the one blade to another blade, the gap is there. Now the steam is waste. That collected in the condenser. That collected in the condenser. That represents 3 to 5. It is condensing of steam and vapor in condenser. Now 5 to 7. 5 to 7. Again we are re-injecting that steam. That steam vapor can convert in the form of water, circulated in the cooling tower. Again here the 150 to 300 degrees centigrade, but in this the particular place, the recycling, that is the closed loop system, the cooling tower, the water is carried from the raw water from river or sea or lake, canal or storage water tank. Comparing to the thermal power plant, in geothermal power plant the water requirement is more. Based upon the water only, we are taken the temperature in the ground particle, that is inside the ground particle. One bore well we are injecting the water, the another bore well we are, that is the production well, another bore well we are generating the steam. That the steam collected in that the steam drives the steam turbine with high pressure and then temperature, with high pressure and then temperature. Now this is the 5 to 7. Again we are re-injecting the wastage steam collected in the condenser that circulated to the cooling tower. Again this the water sending to the re-injected in the injected well, injected to the injected. Due to that we are generating the power. These are the methods of harnessing. And advantages of the geothermal power plant: it is inexhaustible one. It is not a burning nature. It is inexhaustible device. And another advantage, available throughout the year. That is, we can generate the power with the help of geothermal power plant in a year, 365 days. We can generate the power throughout the year. And another one available, that is throughout the year. We can generate the power throughout the year. And cheaper in cost comparing to the thermal power plant. In geothermal power plant, the cost is very, very less. That is cheaper in cost. That is, the per unit cost is very, very less. But in thermal power plant, it polluted to the environment. But the geothermal power plant, it is not polluted to the environment due to the fumes, and it is not released for the carbon dioxide, sulfuric oxide and nitrous oxide. Carbon dioxide, sulfuric oxide and nitrous oxide. Less pollution comparing to the other conventional power plant, that is comparing to the thermal power plant, the pollution is very, very less. And it produces maximum amount of energy than other type of the alternate sources. That is, if comparing to the biomass or tidal power plant or wind power plant, in the geothermal power plant, we are generating the maximum amount of power. In non-conventional power plant or renewable energy sources, comparing to the other power plant, in geothermal power plant, we can generate the maximum amount of power. And it produces the maximum amount of power comparing to the remaining type of the sources. That is either solar or wind, biomass, tidal, OTEs. And no fuel is required. Actually, in the conventional power plant, for thermal power plant, the fuel requirement is coal. In nuclear power plant, the fuel requirement is uranium, thorium, and then plutonium. But in the geothermal power plant, no need for the fuel. Due to that, the transportation cost is minimized and running cost is also less. And clean sources of energy comparing to the conventional power plant, it is some amount of the and less area. The space requirement is also less comparing to the conventional power plant. If comparing to the renewable energy sources, comparing to the solar power plant, in geothermal power plant, the space requirement is very, very less. And reliable source of energy. These are the various advantages of the geothermal power plant comparing to the other power generation. And demerits, that is disadvantages of the geothermal power plant. Location, that is only we can generate the power in the hot tracks or volcanic lands. Hot tracks or volcanic lands. This is the major problem. Only few places we are generating the power, and identification of the rockland and volcanic land is very difficult. And the power plant can be constructed away from the load center. Due to that, the transmission cost is increased and line losses is also increased. That is one of the advantage. And the earthquakes in the geothermal power plant also causes the earthquake, because due to the injection of borewell, we are injecting more number of borewells. The effect, that is the future, the effect is earthquake. And away from the populated area, due to that the line losses and transmission cost is increased, and large quantity of water is required. If we are generating the power with the help of water, that is one borewell we are injecting the water, and another borewell we are collecting the steam. Due to that the steam we are generating the power, and the less power generation comparing to the conventional power plants. Actually, in the conventional thermal power plant, the temperature is maintained 250 to 500 degrees centigrade. In the conventional power plant, that is the thermal power plant or nuclear power plant, the temperature is maintained 250 to 500 degrees centigrade. But in the geothermal power plant, temperature is 150 to 300 degrees centigrade. 150 to 300 degrees centigrade. Based upon the temperature, that is with high pressure and then temperature, we are converting the turbine, that is the steam turbine. But comparing to the conventional power plant, in geothermal power plant, the power generation is less. That is one of the drawback. Air pollution at geothermal installation, it polluted to the environment in the form of, that is a significant problem because of emission of the radioactive radon gases, hydrosulfur gases, so on. But comparing to the remaining conventional power plant, the effect is somewhat less in geothermal power. These are the various advantages and disadvantages of the geothermal power plant comparing to the other power plants. And application of the geothermal power plant, it is used for generation of electrical power, industrial process heat, and the space heating for building, production of salt from sea, paper manufacturing, and gasification of coal. These are the various applications of the geothermal power plants. It is application of geothermal power plants. And environmental effect of geothermal power plant, it a number of the problem is that the environment, the one is nothing but the earthquake. This is the major problem. And once we are injecting the more number of borewells in the particular places, again we are suffering for the drinking water also. We are suffering for drinking water. If more number of borewells we are injecting, that the surrounding, the water surrounding in the area, the drinking problem, the human beings are affected. This is a major the effect in the geothermal power. That is, it's affected for the human being. And what about the nature? What about the nature? That is the environmental effect of geothermal sources. Due to the geothermal, the air pollution taken place, that is major problem. The emission of poison gases, and it's for hydrogen sulfide, ammonia, methane, and carbon dioxide. These are the affected in the environment. It produces in the air pollution taken place. The major problem, emission of poison gases are hydrogen sulfide, ammonia, methane, and carbon dioxide. Another one, a large quantity of water is required. Due to that, the surrounding people surface the dry water problem, and the earthquake effect is also there in that the particular places. These are the major effect in the environment due to the geothermal power generation. But comparing to the remaining power plant, this is somewhat good. We can generate the maximum amount of power. But the main thing, only generated in the geothermal power plant, few places. Only we can generate the geothermal power in the few places. In this class, we have discussed about introduction of the geothermal power plant and the working principle of the geothermal power plant. And what are the main sources used in the geothermal? Actually, in the geothermal power plant, the main sources used for magma resources, but the available four methods: hydrothermal system, geopressure system, petrothermal system, and magma resources. Out of these, they are preferred only for the magma resources. And the temperature versus entropy curve, how we can generate the methods of harnessing, and are the various advantages and disadvantages of geothermal power plant comparing to the other power generation, application of the geothermal power plant, and environmental effects of geothermal energy sources, how it affect for the environment.